hello, she.
There's a few he and they out there. But this is a totally weird, you're gonna have to like go with me on the cognitive dissonance that I just interviewed Scott Galloway, and it was a very different kind of conversation. What the fuck is happening there?
I think they're trying to get to 30.
Okay,
there we go.
Okay, so Chelsea's book, has everyone read it? Has everyone already purchased it? It's unbelievably good. And I think harkens this new moment. Okay, sorry, that wasn't a clap cue, but we'll keep it going. It's incredible. It's a phase, it feels like. It was really resonant to me as a 53-year-old.
Oh.
It felt like you're in a time of like wisdom and permission and like safe spaces. So, and it seemed very personal. How did you decide to go there again? It's already a New York Times bestseller, but we still need to keep like number one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen Denton.
Yes. Whenever I'm writing a book or doing stand-up or anything of the things I do, I try and think if I have anything different and new to say, some sort of evolution or something to share. And this book is very much about sisterhood and the meaning of being a good sister, not just only to other women, primarily, first and foremost to other women, and not competing with each other in the way that we do, but understanding that, all ships rise with the tide, and when one of us succeeds, we all succeed. And to know that this is the moment where we really have to come together and showing up for each other, and not just other women, but for the men and for all the people that are being targeted in this administration, to really show double down on your love and your compassion and kindness for people you do know and people you don't know. And just about having an unapologetic way to go about living your life. You do not have to listen to what any fucking buddy tells you to do.
No fucking buddy.
You have to understand what your purpose is, what you're doing here, and how you want to achieve what you want to achieve. And if that means being a wife and a mother, that's beautiful. But if it doesn't mean that, that's also beautiful.
Yes,
and to embrace that and to reward yourself for knowing whether or not you're cut out for something like that. And I know that I wasn't cut out for that. So I made the right decision.
You're a better mother to your nieces, nephews, former semi-steppish children than I am to my biological offspring. So,
well, I don't know about that, but yes.
No, for real. My kids would love to enter your orbit. But how does that?
I have a lot of kids in my life. People think that since I don't want children, that I hate them. I don't hate children. I have tons of children in my life. So in this book, I do share about some stories about some different children, ex-boyfriends' children that I helped raise and that call me father.
It's so funny. They do.
They do. They call me
she
father.
Calls them Oopsie Boopsie.
Yeah, Oopsie Whoopsie and Poopsie are their names in the book. But yeah, I have a lot of children in my life, and I actually have a lot of bandwidth for children because I don't have my own children.
Okay.
So if I had my own children, I'd probably be a lot more centered on that. But I'm able to give out a lot, and I'm able to make contributions in a bigger way because of being freed up in that way. So it's an unsung, I like the conversation that women are having now, where they're being more vociferous about whether or not they're cut out for it. We don't all have to do that. We can contribute in a million other ways, and there's a million ways to be valuable in society. So I love to kind of really shout that out loud, and I can't say it enough.
Yeah, and I think that's now what and I do think, and it's funny that we were just talking earlier, some of our colleagues, about even the term like childless by choice assumes a default of child, which is interesting because many of us probably, it's preferable that we're contributing to society in a way that touches many and isn't quite as focused on just a few. Your sisterhood vibe, your commitment to the sisters. You've said if you see something, you must do something, I think it was, when you called out Woody Allen, which is hilarious.
Well, Woody Allen should be called out every time he's in public.
It's so good. It's really funny, and she waits till like the end of the dinner, but you gotta read the book. But how do the sisterhood commitment seems incredibly strong. You also tell each other the truth in a way that seems sometimes not easy to do.
I think that's a really important component of being a great friend and a great woman, is to be honest with the other women in your life and actually having the balls to have the difficult conversations. We owe that to each other, to really be honest with each other. it's easier to shirk away from a difficult conversation. And so many people are conflict avoidant, but it doesn't have to be a conflict when you love someone and you care about them. And it doesn't even have to be your friend. It just has to be another woman that you're trying to help. Like, here, this is what's happening. I can help you. Or this is, you know, what Jane Fonda did to me, which was call me out on bad behavior. And she changed my life forever and modeled to me, which is a chapter in the book, she modeled to me what I want to be for other women, which is a safe harbor. Like, I'll tell you the truth. You can trust me. I've got your back. That's what I want us all to be. I want to inject everybody with the confidence and self-assuredness that I feel in my life. And it's taken me a long time to get here. I mean, I always had a fuck you attitude, but now I really mean it in a positive way. Not in a fuck you way. Like, I don't care. Now, I'm here to be a good person and help people and help the world. I'm not a bad person and I'm not arrogant about it, but I want to be helpful. Do you know?
No, absolutely. And again, the pages make it very clear the experiences, because you relate wonderful stories. How did you, like, you sort of mentioned sometimes pre-therapy, post-therapy, it seems like there was a bridge, something occurred.
Yeah, self-awareness, the gift of self-awareness and therapy was a huge tool. A totally like a big pain in the ass to go through therapy. It's obviously ugly, and I'm sure most of you are in therapy, hopefully, we all are. But yes, becoming a richer version of yourself and understanding that you have flaws and shortcomings and actually working hard to overcome them and spread joy and sunshine where you go. You know, actually think about what you're putting out. If I'm in a shitty mood, I shouldn't be out in public. If I'm having, you know, like, I want to spread joy and sunshine. I want people to be happy. I want to leave a room with people laughing or inspired. And what do I have to do to make that happen? You know, what do I have to do to myself on my inner work to make that happen? To be like a good example for young people, and to also, you know, be brave and speak up.
And I think that okay, so your commitment to putting the sunshine out seems to, I felt like you had a line which was kind of show up. I'm not going to get it exactly right, but it's kind of be the woman you want to be. You can keep evolving, is the way I took it. Be the woman you want to be that person, step it up. This is maybe when you were leaving London, and like, be the person that you would, and it's a really useful way to think about actions in the world. Like, I thought, I'm being a dick right now, I feel tired, I don't want to say hello to this person. And I was like, oh, be the person I would respect would say hello, would go and make that person feel better. And how do you, it sounds exhausting though, like being a sunshine spreader.
But it's not.
No?
I mean, of course it's exhausting. Everything's exhausting. I'd rather be exhausted by happiness than by being an asshole. You know what I mean? I'd rather have that tire me out.
It's very tiring being an asshole.
And it's important. It's more important now than ever for us to be like that, to be collective and inclusive and really, like, pump each other up. We have to do that. And I am proud to be a woman among all of these women that are so powerful. I think what we're seeing now, and you know, politically, the backdrop is dark for many reasons, but this is a reaction to the powerfulness of women. This is a death cough of white supremacy. Like, women are not going anywhere. So buckle up, because we're just becoming more independent, more powerful, and the men who walk beside us and respect that are going to come with us. And this whole, you know, so it's like more important for me now than ever. I didn't write this book thinking that this was going to be the situation, but it turns out this is a nice little medicinal, like, salve to not lose hope in this kind of icky moment that we're in, to know that there is optimism, and I have optimism for our future, and I'm not ever going to lose hope, especially in women.
That's so thankful. Thank you. Because it is. And so, and in the time of chaos and being disheartened with so much of the world, the people in the United States in particular who are in power, you seem to find, our brand for health is called Flow Space. Finding flow, I think you even mentioned flow in your book. And we are trying to find that space for women where you can be fully engaged and you can be fully yourself and you can be in the present tense and effortful, but also, also letting the goodness wash over you. we don't feel that women find that space easily. I know you seem to create that space.
But we are all capable of creating that
Yes.
space for each other, whether
Yes.
you're on, it doesn't matter what line of work you're in, we're all capable of supporting other women and lifting each other up. Like, there's no limit to that.
No,
So
no.
that's what's such a wonderful idea and notion. That is limitless, what we can do to help each other. And now we're all learning, like, it isn't a zero-sum game. It's not like there's only room for one or two of us. There's room for all of us. It's togetherness. So that makes me very excited and happy and hopeful and about our future and in the long term especially. And look at our like next generation of children and kids, and they're engaging and they're talking to us like adults. Like, I was on this plane with a 16-year-old boy yesterday, and he was like, "Is it okay if I put some Tiger Balm on my knees? That smell okay with everyone around you?"
Nice
And
boy.
I was like,
A
"Who
nice
the fuck
gentleman.
are you?"
I know.
I'm like,
What a nice
do you have a
man.
girlfriend? I'm like, I mean, when are you going to be 18? I'll date you if you're that considerate. Like, I'm very encouraged by like all of the people I'm around and that I see. This festival is very vibrant,
Yep.
and it's very. There's a lot of goodness to look to, and so I went through a lot of darkness and pain and ugliness during the last time we had this president. I'm not doing that again.
Okay.
You don't get to steal my joy.
Right.
I'll be active, but you're not stealing my happiness. You're not.
It's interesting to think of it that way, what women went through the first time
Yeah,
versus the second
and
time.
it's
I hadn't thought of-
traumatizing for sure, but like that's why we have to double down on all of the good stuff.
And I think there was initially maybe a sense of fatigue. Like, I marched, I did the things, and last time he was in here, we got him out. But I'm hearing, there's so many women on the stage today, and who we have the honor of collaborating with, who are like, I'm in, like I'm ready, like I'm not,
I'm ready too.
Yeah, like I don't know exactly what's pushing that force, but there's a lot of, it's not just it's not necessarily optimism. It's like, I know this fight, like I'm here for this. It's a long fight. It always has been. Like,
Yeah,
it's not,
right.
We didn't do it once, and I find that really inspiring. Okay, so I'll have what she's having. The discussion of we've had a lot of interesting medical folks on stage, amazing insights into health innovation, including microdosing, including...
Love microdosing.
Right, I was going to go there. And we had Andrew Weil even this morning, who's like grandfather of integrated medicine. And how do you're like a pro, and I'd like some advice on exactly when and where, like when the sun's up and the sun's down and it's raining, what should I be imbibing? But how do you contemplate health all around the physical, microdosing, but then also eating healthfully, surrounding yourself clearly with these joyous people?
Yeah, I think joy is a big part of being healthy, right? Like it is. I mean, obviously I want to be strong. I work out for different reasons than I did when I was in my 20s. I want to
You have a hot body.
I do have a hot body,
yes.
thank you.
Yes.
I have the body I wanted when I was 20
Yes,
and 50.
which
So
is-
everyone, you have something to look forward to. It all comes together in your 40s and 50s. Having turned 50 a couple weeks ago, I mean, yes, I feel like if I had known this was what 50 was like, I would have been like, can I get there
Sign me
sooner?
up, sign me
Perfect.
up,
This
yeah.
is exactly where I want to be, But mindfully, I mean, I do everything mindfully now.
Right.
I'm very much in the present of wherever I am. I'm not worried about the past. I'm not worried about the future. I have enough data to show me I'm the one who got me this far, so I've got you. Like, that's what I say to myself all the time. I've got you.
Yeah, I got you.
And I think for me, it's always staying in touch with kind of the little girl. This is what my book opens with, is a chapter to my older self as a younger girl of the kind of woman that I wanted to become. Like, how did I see myself being in this world? I wanted to be strong. I wanted to be independent. I didn't want to rely on anyone for my, for
Right.
money. I wanted to be someone who stood up for something.
Right.
And I wanted to show up for people. And so connecting, like, in a healthful way to that
Right.
essence of who you are as a child, who you are before the world shits on you and you get your heart broken and you get disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that little kid? And is that person still with you and inside of you? And it's your job to bring her along the way and make sure you don't forget who you are. You forget the integrity of your childhood. You don't want to do that. We want to bring that child with us, and that's who we're supposed to be taking care of.
Right.
So in a healthful way, everything I do is just more mindful. So if I'm microdosing, it's not a really big deal. It's a microdose. Like I'll take one in the morning if I have a busy day. I'll take an LSD microdose.
Right.
I eat healthfully. I drink. I went out last night, so I won't go out tonight. Everything's just kind of like what makes sense. It's not that hard to figure out once you've been in your own body for a long time. You're like, okay, this will agree with me and this won't.
It's like she's telling me.
I've had enough experimentation to know that I can handle almost any drug. Almost any.
What one can't you?
I did 5-DMEO, 5-DMEOT. Am I saying it right?
What is it?
It's some frog venom, and that was awful. But other than that, I've had a great experience with drugs. Yes. I love drugs. And I think that it can enhance your life and they can enhance your creativity. Whenever I write a book and I go in to edit it, I smoke a joint, I have a drink, or I take some drugs so I can go in and just futsky with it and make it funnier.
Right. And
always.
That optimization.
And by the way, and I like this whole, I know there's a big MAPS event tonight too, and obviously we're all having conversations about drugs and alcohol in a different way now, especially with microdosing psilocybin, MDMA, ayahuasca, all of those things. But this is my 6th #1 New York Times bestseller, so drugs and alcohol ad.
Yes.
So you're not a derelict if you like drugs and alcohol.
Right.
You just have to try to stay out of rehab. It's not that big of a deal.
Just try to stay out of it. But I think people want to read about it because you're not judgmental.
No, I'm not judgmental, at all.
In the women's health space, we get told a lot of things we're doing we shouldn't do.
Right.
And don't do that and that. And there a lot of it's learning, which is awesome. I didn't realize that thing I did was actually hurting my gut, for example. But I do think that we all gravitate to you. Because you're not judging.
But do you know how many people have told me to stop talking about drugs and alcohol publicly?
Really?
In my life, professionally, people have been like, Chelsea, can you simmer down? No branding. No brands are going to want to do deals with you. I'm like, there's a million other stories to tell.
Yeah.
I'm an incredible skier. I look incredible.
Right.
I'm successful. I have all these books. I have all these shows. What are you talking about? Tell another story. So I switched agencies, and guess what? I have tons of brand deals now because we are telling a different story.
They're like, we're not very good at selling.
I'm like, that's so lazy. You know what I mean?
That's
nobody is one thing. Just because you enjoy that doesn't mean that defines who you are. So we all need to broaden our thinking a lot around that area. You know?
I agree.
I mean, we're all too judgmental. I wish I had no judgment in me at all. Unfortunately, I do. When I see certain types of shoes on men, that bothers me. I get judgmental about that, lots of things, open shorts. I mean, there are a lot of things that I'm judgy about.
What are open shorts?
Just men and different clothing items I have problems with. But let's not go down that road.
Okay, it sounds like a fun road. But I liked so many things about your book, including the non-judgment, but also the high standards. You have very high standards of your friends, people, it seems.
I have high standards of myself. I hold myself to a very high standard. So, and I also want to bring people up to their standards. A lot of us can be doing a lot better, and sometimes you just need a push from someone else. I've gotten that push in my life, and I've given that push. And I want to continue to receive and be able to, help other people understand when they're not reaching their full potential, or to really take a risk and go out on a limb and try something that you're scared to do, but can be so rewarding if you take the leap, or get out of a relationship that's not serving you, get out of a work relationship that's not serving you, take risks in life. That's where the action is, that's where you remain vibrant, and you are, and you can become anything that you really want to be, as long as you really are true to who you are, finding out who you are as a person. So many people are they get stuck, and it's it's not, you just have to spend some serious time looking inward and then finding out, okay, this is meaningful to me. This is what I want to do. This is my messaging. This is what I want to go after. This is joyful. I'm going to create joy in this situation. I'm going to do that. I'm going to ski down in a bikini on my birthday with 50 other women
to
celebrate.
Not see that?
To celebrate womanhood,
Right.
and being a strong, badass woman.
Yeah.
So all of the things I just want are, I'm just trying to spread high vibes. We need them.
And I think that I do, yes. And I think the threshold that you hold yourself to is impressive, and it feels like you are suggesting I need to be this in order to be as productive as I can be and spreading the joy. How do you set the expectations for yourself? I mean, I don't imagine you sit down and like write it down, but you're always doing more.
I just do the thing that I would want me to do if I weren't me. You know
that.
what I mean?
I love that.
I just do the thing, like if no one is watching, what will you do? Are you gonna do the right thing? Or are you gonna do the selfish, easier, lazier thing? No, I'm never gonna do the selfish, easier, lazier thing. I won't.
Never. I do it.
No, I mean, yeah, like tonight I'll probably skip the parties and go to bed, but that's not selfish, that's not lazy.
Selfish.
That's conserving my energy for whatever I'm gonna do tomorrow.
Totally.
Which I'll find out about tomorrow, you know?
You will.
But yeah, it's like, it's good to hold yourself to higher standards. It's good to compete with yourself rather than another woman.
Yeah.
You know?
I like that. I like the competing with the self. That's very useful. And I love, as I've said, the be the woman you want to be, that you see, and that you can do that. You said that the idea that you can continue to evolve. Like we aren't like
cooked.
Yes, we are not cooked. We are not done. Especially, you know, we focus quite a bit on women over 40 whose, you know, certain life that's been actually researched by medical professionals, where we didn't research women over 40 because it was too hard because they had hormones, hormone shifts, which made it just too hard. But I think that finding the woman you want to be and allowing yourself the evolution. Have you had an evolution of sorts, or not evolution? Changed.
Absolutely. And I also think, like, you know, we focus so much on our failures. I've had some really big failures and things where I thought everything was over. Mm-hmm. Like there's a chapter in the book about the Montreal Comedy Festival. I bombed so badly at the Montreal Comedy Festival. The first year I was there, I was like 28 years old, I think. And I was the big it girl. Like I was supposed to be the new girl on the scene, and I ate it. Big time, and I thought my life was over. Zach Galifianakis walked me to my hotel room and he said, "You should be alone now. No one can help you."
Wow.
Not in a mean way, like I can't make you feel better. You just deal with this disaster. And I'm like, I guess my career was over before it began. Like that was my big break. And I sat in my hotel room and I cried and I lost, like it was so important to me, you know? And I didn't get it. I blew my opportunity. And then literally 72 hours later, I got another chance to do that set in front of the one executive that didn't see me tank it in Montreal. And her name is Grace Wu, and she worked at NBC, and they gave me a development deal for my own TV show. So within 72 hours of me having the biggest disappointment of my professional career at that time, I had the biggest high of my professional career 72 hours later. And that is a story that I want everyone to remember when something goes badly. There are rainbows coming your way, always. Mm-hmm. So when things are bad, just know something good is coming. Just like something bad is always coming, something good is always coming. So don't get stuck on the failures. Like if you're sitting here today and you're wondering about, like, I think every failure gets you closer to success. So embrace those just as much as you embrace the wins.
And how do you process the failure if it does get you really down?
You just have to welcome the pain. You have to be like, bring it. It's like a breakup. Like, bring it. I'm going to go through this pain. I'm going to get the more conscious you are about going through difficult feelings, the quicker you go through them.
Yeah.
The distraction and the phones and watching TV or escapism, you're putting off the inevitable. You're not learning. And so the real growth is stepping towards difficult stuff and being like, fucking bring it on. I know I'm a tree. Mm-hmm. I'm not a leaf. I'm a tree. Okay. So bring it to me, and I will handle it, digest it, and regurgitate it. Wow. And move on and do something better, you know?
That's just an amazing practice that I think
we all have this wealth of resiliency in all of us. Each single one of us is so strong, you know, and sometimes you don't find out about your own strength until you absolutely have to tap into it. Mm-hmm. And I'm here to remind people to tap into your strength. You know, that's where your truth lies, and that's where what you're supposed to do, you know, comes to you. Like, you understand what you're doing here.
Did you have to heal anything?
Yes, every day I'm healing. I'm healing. I had shoulder surgery 2 weeks ago from an infection that I got.
What?
I mean, I'm literally healing and healing. But yes, even that was one of the lowest. I had to get this emergency surgery because sorry, that's my mic. Mm-hmm. I had this infection in my shoulder, and I was stuck in bed for 2 weeks. And I was hosting the Critics' Choice Awards. I was getting I had a PICC line in my arm. I was at my lowest, and I was like, bring it on. Like, I can handle this. Obviously, somebody wants me in bed for 2 weeks, so I'll stay here.
The universe.
And it's okay. You're not going to break me. I'm okay. I'll sit here for 2 weeks and heal. And I did. My shoulder's pain is gone. I can move my arm again, and it's gone. That's in the past now.
Right.
So, like, everything is gettable, you know, and get overable.
And the little girl, okay, I definitely teared up on the, like, I've got you to your young self. I've always been here. You said, like, I've always been here, which is the sort of teary part. It's, I've been here for you, but, and you just need to know it, maybe. Was there any healing of childhood, thoughts on, I don't know, self-perception?
Yeah, I mean, I think if like, when I think about my little girl self and who she wanted to be and who I've become, I'm pretty psyched that everything worked out the way that I wanted it to, and even more so, you know, than I wanted it to, because now I really get to engage with so many people. Like, I get to, you know, I mean, just going through my birthday this year, my book came out on my birth date, so just people are still wishing me a happy birthday. Like, that's so meaningful to me. Strangers are coming up to me and saying happy birthday. Like, the idea that I have the ability and that so many people gather strength or like me or whatever they're getting from me means so much to me that I will continue to deliver as long as anybody wants it, you know?
Thank you for that, because it is, and I do feel like this time, I don't know, you're obviously popping, you have a show coming, there's a lot happening. The clinging to the people who are truth tellers, who are trustworthy, I think is really a salve for all Americans right now, all women. And I think that the responsibility is almost increasing for people like you with that voice, because your necessity has also probably increased. The urgency of, I'm doing this because it's kind of like the book, you know, listening to your book also on audio because you read it is so cool, because you're like, I'm with somebody right now who's telling me things that I should hear, and I'm going to apply them really quickly. And that doesn't seem to deplete you, but I'm asking, do you get, I know I said, are you exhausted? And that's not we're all exhausted. But do you feel it's too much to be that meaningful to so many people ever? Or is it?
No, never. No.
That's awesome. That's weird.
No, I don't feel that. I'm a people person.
Yeah.
I'm not a celebrity person. I'm a people person. I'd rather be with regular people.
Yep. Okay. And what drug is best at sunset?
Well, listen, MDMA is the best drug ever. So everybody knows that. If you haven't tried it, you're going to find out about it.
Yeah.
But
like
that's the best drug. That's the number one favorite, always. But I am a big fan of microdosing LSD. I find that, A, puts you in a great headspace, makes you very productive, and you're able to be very present. Okay. So any drug that allows you to even be more focused is something I like.
And it's not for a nap, the LSD.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not for a nap.
It's not for a nap.
Like a be here, be present. Can you tell about when you gave the nice old people I
have a house in Mallorca, and I have a lot of LSD there. And I had a group of friends visiting me, and we were sitting on this little esplanade outside my house, and this older couple walked by. This was last summer, and they were so cute. They were like in their 80s. It was their 50th wedding anniversary, so they must have been 80-something. And
or the math, right? Okay,
yeah. And they were holding hands, and the way the man was holding both his hands, two hands with his wife's hand, and I just was on LSD, so I was even more sensitive to it. I was like, oh my God, look at this beautiful couple. And then I walked up to them, I'm like, you guys are so cute. What's the story? And they're like, oh, we're celebrating our 50th wedding anniversary. And I was like, oh my God. And I wanted their history. And then I was like, this is my house, and I have 2 kayaks right here in front on the beach. I'm like, do you guys want to take my kayaks out and go for like a nice, into the Mediterranean, go for a nice kayak? And they were like, oh, maybe. And I'm like, I also have some LSD. I'm like, you guys seem like you would really enjoy it. And then I got their medical history and background, obviously, because I'm a professional doctor, and realized they had no issues, no heart issues, nothing. And I said, please, these are microdoses. You guys are safe with me. Take the kayaks, go, enjoy your wedding anniversary. I forgot about those people, okay? I went to sleep that night. I forgot. I was up at 7:30 the next morning, working out on my terrace, and I see this kayak coming up. It's 7:30 in the morning. I had seen them at 10 o'clock at night. Like, I completely forgot. And then I'm like, oh, is that the couple? And then they come up, and they come up the stairs to my house. I open the gate, and they're like, we thought we were happy.
And now?
When we saw you, that made our life. They said we went out into an alcove. We took the kayak into one of the coves outside of the harbor of where we live. He goes, and we sat there for 8 hours all night talking about all of our favorite memories in our lifetime.
I mean, right?
And the woman looked at me, and she's 80-something, and she goes, do you have any more of that LSD? And I was like, I'm healing people. This is so beautiful. My sisters, meanwhile, I gave her the rest of my LSD, of course, respect your elders. And my sister's like, I wonder how many people you've dosed on this island. I'm like, I'm just getting started.
I love that so much. You're like the fairy godmother of acid. Like, just shows up and is like,
just great experiences.
I see you.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. One of the things I found so beautiful and also funny about that story was that you forgot about them in a way that was like, I'm not sitting around waiting for my credit. Like you weren't.
No. I'm not trying to get anywhere. I just want everyone to have a good time,
And it wasn't like, oh, check me out, virtue signaling, anything like that.
No.
Which that can be a thing that takes the joy out of the joyful act. I think the generosity is if it is for a return on investment of some kind. Your kindness seems to be very much without an ROI element. Like it feels very natural. Is that true?
I mean, I would hope so.
Right,
I don't think I'm looking for credit, but I am telling the story though in my book, so maybe I am looking for credit.
I think that's inspiration. No, I think that's.
I think it's just. I want people to just share whatever they have. I want to share whatever. If I know something, I want everyone else to know about it too.
Right.
If I have drugs that are good, I want you to have them too. I want to share. Like I'm a sharer.
I love
sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring, especially when it's LSD and it's your anniversary of 50 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Especially knowing since I'll never have a 50-year anniversary with a man, I mean, not in a sad way. That's okay.
We're very into longevity here.
Yeah. Oh. Well, I don't want to live that long. Okay, that's too long. That means I would have to meet someone now and live till 100.
No, thank you. The universe.
I can't afford to live that long. No, thank you.
What do you look for in a partner? I'm sorry. Shut up.
I don't really look for a partner.
I know you don't. You just.
I really am not. End. Okay. No. I love men and I love having fun, but I really have just come to understand something about my personality, and it's that I like variety.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not opposed to falling in love, and I'm not a dishonest person, but I'm just not in that headspace. Mm-hmm. A man is. I love men, and I want lots of them in my life. Period.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. That's very freeing also, because it means you're not looking for.
No, I'm not trying to hook up or shack up or anything like that.
But be penetrated once.
Penetration, yes. Primal penetration.
I love that. I'm sorry, that also cracked me up. Okay, siblings, you adore yours. Advice on all of us staying lifelong friends with siblings.
Well, that's funny. I'm not talking to my one brother right now, but.
What's his name again?
Well, I don't want to say his name because I have a couple brothers, so maybe it'll be confusing.
Good.
No, my sisters are. My family's very close. So, and I think that's really important. If you can maintain the closeness with your family, that is the number one thing to do, especially with your sisters and your brothers. Absolutely. Like if I think that is the reason why I remain so grounded is because of my family, and just because of the love and support that we share and the sacrifices that we've all make to make sure that we spend time together. The investment. I feel very responsible for my family. I was the youngest of 6 children, and I thought I was in charge of the whole family. Mm-hmm. And I would tell them, I'm like, guys, you need to listen to what I'm saying. Come with me, I'll show you a better life. And my family was like, who the fuck are you? You're 3 years old. And meanwhile, now they're like, oh, she was right. I'm like, I'm right. I told you, come with me. But no, I take a lot of pride in keeping my family connected together. My mom was dying and asked that I did that. She was like, please make sure you take care of this one. I know you're going to have a big, loud life, and you're going to be very successful, and this is what I'm asking of you. And so I always deliver on that.
And her voice seems to be present in a lot of those choices.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're choices, because sometimes it isn't, I have siblings, sometimes we fucking hate each other.
Yeah.
But you still have that store of shared commitment of some sort.
Right. Nobody else knows what you went through during your childhood other than your siblings.
That's right. And that's a pretty authentic version of yourself. But we get to keep growing forever, is my takeaway. A thing that you said, again, was that you don't have to be this version of yourself. You're still growing. Like, you're not tethered to the silly thing you said when you were
No. I don't think think about,
I'm me.
Yeah.
You never said anything silly.
You're talking about yourself.
I'm saying, the silly, dummy things. But how do you shake those off, though? How do you shake off the...
I just don't think you can take yourself that seriously. We're humans. We make mistakes. Don't beat yourself up. Don't self-immolate. You don't have to live in shame. If you make a mistake, apologize and move on. That's it. We don't have to sit and regret all the time. Like, we've been trained to feel so bad about bad decision-making. It's what happens. We make bad decisions sometimes. The only thing you can do is clean your mess up when you have an opportunity to do so, or you can make a new impression the next time you see someone that you made a bad impression with. Like, just love and self-love. Like, talk to yourself in a nice, compassionate way, saying you're beautiful, you're special, you're a contribution. All of those things, you know, the way you talk to yourself matters.
And then you use the word okay, so that's also the love story with yourself. I think is really poignant and also makes you feel less lonely. You're like, this is a person with whom I have a lifelong relationship inside of this body. You also introduced, I had not thought of the word munificent in a long time, and your 3 critical words: dependable, kind, munificent. I felt like those were very deliberate choices.
Yes, yes. I mean, that's what I want to be. Those 3 things, always.
What the fuck does munificent mean?
Generous.
Okay.
Generous.
Okay, generous. Okay.
To not, it's like, to share whatever you have to share. It doesn't have to be monetary, but to be generous of spirit, to be generous of your time, to be generous when you can help someone to do it, you know, to take the extra step, to understand that you're not always the main character in every story. Sometimes you're a supporting character in someone else's story. It's not all about us all the time. To be much less selfish. I feel like selfishness is the worst part of any story.
Okay.
You know?
And you do also love reading. I know, I'm over. You love reading. What are you reading? Right
What am I reading? Oh, Human Garbage. It's not that uplifting. Don't read it.
Okay. Oh dear.
I mean, it's about you know, our pollution and I've been in so many book signings that I keep grabbing books. I read the little things like these. That's cute.
That's good.
That's cute. And A Little Liar by Mitch Albom. That's really cute.
That's good.
This one is all about climate change, so I would suggest.
Okay, so Little Liar. Mitch Albom is always.
Yeah, Mitch Albom is great.
Always helps us out. Yes. But the best book right now, and I know I was like, as listening to this, and I do buy the book because it's pretty, but also get the Audible because it's Chelsea's voice, which is really cool to hear the words that way. But I was like, I don't listen to self-help books. And I was like, but myself is being very helped. So thank you for sneaking in.
Oh,
This is cool. I'm not in the self-help section, but it's a very helpful book, I think, for women in general. I bring to it being over 40, contemplating the next phases, and it's a healing ride. So
thank you very much. Thank you
okay.
everyone for being here.
Okay, babe.
Wonderful.